Alright, so we've got Grungy and Rage facing off here in what should be an epic showdown. An epic lightning showdown. So we've got Grungy as the red Roman, Rage as the yellow Roman. Now, these guys, well, Grungy's sort of prepared, I think. Already got 4 on the food, but he's probably want to go straight up to 5 or 6 pretty quickly, because this train time is fucking bonkers. These guys are just pumping out the villagers. Rage hasn't made any use of his engineer yet, which is a bit of a no-no, because really, you can use him to scout and kill huntables and place down all your buildings early on. Oh, here we go. I'm going to use him to place a storehouse. Nice. He's going to get Picker's gloves. Grungy hasn't taken Pickers yet, but he is going to expand onto the hunt, and he's already up to 10 villages. Rage is at 9. It's harder to maintain continual villager production when you can actually just run dry of food so quickly in this. You need to have 4 or 5 villagers on berries straight off the bat while you're taking your hunt in lightning mode, unlike standard, just because the train time is going to be 7.5 seconds. So Grungy, you're already having to go over the house. You're already a little bit further ahead of Rage on the villager production, and look at that house. How quickly does that go up from the engineer? It doesn't really tell you the increased build speed. Oh no, here we go. So it normally takes 11 seconds rather than, I think it's 15 seconds, yeah, for a house from a villager with an engineer. So they're only taking 5.5 seconds rather than 7.5 in lightning. And look at this, the storehouse, similar timing. It's nuts how quickly things are building for these players in lightning mode. So Rage is already getting a bit of gold. Grungy hasn't started gathering any yet, and even one villager is going to be gathering it quite quickly now, because again, it's only going to take 5 seconds to get the 10 gold. Thank you for the, I'm going to assume that's a follow. I don't really want to alt tab, I'm afraid. I'm enjoying watching the action, because like, just look at how quickly these guys are getting villagers. Basically these guys have technically got 2 town centers already in lightning mode, you know, compared to the standard mode eco. And when you go up to 2 town centers, you've effectively got 4, you know. So economy happens super quickly in lightning. Rage is aging up now off 18 villages. Grungy's aging up off 26 villages at pretty much the regular age up time. And it's happening super quickly as well. Instead of having to take, you know, a minute, it's happening in like 30 seconds. So it's just unbelievable. And look at how quickly this is going up. Boom, that's just lightning mode for you, bro. Grungy. Shitloads of resources already. Already going to go throw down the second town center. Rage looking at taking a hunt now, which I think is nice considering he sat on berries, but he did take Pickers. Grungy did take hunting dogs, and he's already taken Pickers as well. So you can really get away with double food techs early on in lightning, I think, and it'll really pay a dividend because you're going to gather twice as quick. So everything takes half as long to pay off its value for your economic investments, but you've got to be able to get everything done twice as quickly as well. Your windows of opportunity to actually not get housed and things like that. And ooh, walking time is actually going to be of a much bigger detriment, because you think about it, normally you're going to spend 10 seconds gathering before you walk back. Now you're spending 5 before you walk back, so you're doubling the amount of walking you're doing in the amount of time. So proportionally, it's a bigger factor of the time, and so, you know, these guys are going to be much more efficient. Their walking is only quite tiny, but in saying that, Grungy is sort of just gathering the lynxes because he can. He could always, you know, expand onto another hunt, or just drop back onto berries, but you might as well. It's still relatively quick. So we've got another hunt over here for him. Neither player's really playing aggressively yet, so SPQR coming out. Holy shit, how quickly are the Roman villagers going to train? Because once that researches, it takes off 1.5 seconds off the normal time, so instead of going for like 7.5 seconds, they're popping out at like 6.75 seconds. That's fucking nuts, man. Grungy's eco. He's already up to 42 villagers. We're 5 minutes in. And he can just shit them out. He's going to be able to start pushing with Decurions as well, but Rage is already ready because he's going to be able to start pushing with spears, which he'll be able to push out at like every 7.5 seconds. Dex in the meanwhile only going to take 10.5, so. But bearing in mind, there is the unit cap on them, so Grungy's going to have to look at throwing down other production and going to age 3. Actually, no, it's age 4 to actually get the increased count. But he is going to have to look at switching to other production eventually. While Rage can really just get an army of mostly spearmen. And as long as Grungy doesn't hit him in a sensitive, unguarded spot, then he's going to be fine for now. Because Rage, he's a little bit down on villagers. It's 55 to 40. But in saying that, that swing, like in a standard game, that sort of difference by now would be game over in Lightning. You know, Rage just needs to go for a quick age 3 while continuing village production behind this. Get the quicker 3rd town center and he can equalize that extremely fast. Even flip the scales. Because everything happens in double speed, man. If this game mode catches on, the high levels will be using it for macro practice, because it'll just mean you gotta like fucking think in 1s and 0s. So Rage aging up actually. Grungy not going for his age 3 yet, so yeah, Rage is gonna have the quicker age 3 timing, and he is getting some legionaries behind the spearmen just in case Grungy does have a barracks. That is a nice healthy army of Decurions there. That's a lot of health. A lot of health regen too, because they do have 1.5 a sec each. 4 of them coming down for Rage, so he's going to look at maybe adding Clinicus, or maybe going for SPQR and the other Roman upgrades. Because the Roman upgrades are quite nice. Like, you've got increased engineer build rate and siege repairs, so like their field repairs just become wicked good versus regular villagers. And you've got, you know, health regen and health for villagers and NGs. So that'll stack on top of Loom with villagers and gives your villagers health regen, which the other civs don't actually get. So you become quite difficult to raid. Even Persians, they've got to have aid tent and well-placed storehouses to really heal villagers through any sort of damage, or heal a pack of them relatively quickly. Grungy's 3rd age is coming in hot, and he does have quite a pop lead over Rage. He's already at 92 villagers off 2 town centers with more in queue, and we're only 8.5 minutes in, but Rage does have the army to deal with the Decurions for now, but he really needs to add in some more units. Get some of the Eckies, or however you say it. Fucking, I don't know. I have to listen to Andy say it, remember. And my memory's shit. So I have to watch a lot of Andy casting. So anyway, Rage is slipping behind economically here to Grungy. But, that aside, it's 101 villagers to 59. Holy shit, Grungy. This is nutty. And he is going to get the 3rd town center, and 4 engineers are going to build this like a single engineer building a barracks. No, quicker. But this thing is going to go up extremely fast. And so we got 8 Decurions in there, and Grungy mixing in the rest of the Roman barracks units. Rage with his mixed infantry hasn't mixed in the X yet. Oh, he's going to start adding him now. But he needs either officers or siege, because right now Grungy's army has an element that his doesn't. And he doesn't even have the counter in his composition against that. Oh. So Presidium upgrade on the Castellums. Got that nice tower mounted on top, so they're going to have 10 damage. Only a fairly small area and only quite a small amount of damage, but it does give them more health as well. And it just means that you can't really stick around without clearing them out. And it's only 150 wood for the upgrade. Like, it's great too. And if you do get villagers garrisoned in these, because it allows villager garrisoning too. If you do get them in there, it'll increase the range and damage. Oh, Rage, quick, take the fight. Rage might actually have just as big of an army here, I think. I'm not sure if Grungy nor Rage really have any upgrades. The only edge Grungy really has is that he's fighting on top of his own defense here. And he's got the Decurions. Oh, but he does tear through. Oh, he does actually have Decurion champ. Rage has Legionary champ as well. No spear champ, not enough X. Made that fight quite tough for him, because these Decurions are slowly going to regen through all the damage they just took. Grungy's probably going to try and deny any opportunity Rage has of gathering from this top side of the map with them now. And because he walked away the victor of that fight, he can actually sort of rely on just having half an army here while he secures, you know, the middle of this side of the map, and slowly creep along towards his opponent. Treat the far side of the map just sort of as a dead zone, but at least bully his opponent out of any potential gathering. And eventually Rage is going to have a short market line and a lot of farming villages, and he needs to stop all these idlers because they could be gathering an awful lot of resources for him. But look at that health regen, man. So that's 12 health per second in that little ball. The longer they sit there, the worse things get for Rage, because it'll be as though that fight never happened to Grungy. Look at this little fella, he had like 80 health coming out of that fight. Grungy's got all of his Age 2 upgrades now. He'll be getting all of his Age 3 ones now too. So they're all in queue, and they won't take very long. Normally these take like 80 seconds, they're only going to take 40. Age 4 here for Grungy, so he's already managed to boom ahead of Rage. We're 12 minutes in, and Grungy maxed out, aged up, gonna be post Age 4 very, very shortly, in only 13 minutes. Oh, but Rage is pushing here, he's got a lot of X there. He's going to tear down one of the town centers maybe, because it's mostly an army of legionaries, they're not going to have any bonus damage against them. And these little guys are going to be able to flee, but in the meantime, the Decurions chopping up all the villages. So one of the town centers falling for Rage, but Grungy's going to be able to replace this in only about 40 seconds, that's been nutty. In the meanwhile, yeah, he's pressured Rage, and Rage taps out because he knows without an army, and with the continually declining eco, Grungy with an upgrade lead is going to be an insurmountable battle. GG guys.